Welcome to the Diva Home and Lifestyle podcast, where we discuss buying, selling, and investing in real estate, credit repair, housekeeping tips, DIY projects, gardening, and practical tips to help make your house a happy home. And now here's your host, real estate diva Brenda.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is Brenda Douglas, aka Real Estate Diva from Keller Williams Preferred Properties in Upper Marlboro, where I specialize in luxury and probate property. This is episode number 2, where we will discuss rent with option to buy. But first, our quote of the episode comes from Alec Ice, who once said that trust is like paper. Once it is crumbled, it cannot be good again. Do you know that baking soda can get rid of lingering smells, break up stained fabric? That's right, our happy home hack for this episode is about baking soda. So here's what you can do to remove lingering smells and break up the stained fabric. First, brush off the surface of the sofa. Then sprinkle baking soda in the area you want to clean. Let the baking soda sit for about 20 minutes and then vacuum it up with the brush attachment. As a disclosure, I have not tried this hack, but if you have, let us know about it and other tips, tricks, and clever home hacks using baking soda in the Diva Home and Lifestyle Facebook group. Okay, so rent with option to buy, rent to own or lease purchase, they're all synonymous. But I'm going to have to address it because so many people are asking me about this type of arrangements or asking me to help them find a rent to own property. The problem is there's so many people who have lost thousands of dollars due to this arrangement. So it's a pretty sensitive subject. For me, I'm totally against it, to be honest with you. But I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it hurts the both of us, because I care about you and I care about your well-being. I'm not one to sacrifice your trust in me for any amount of money. So here we go. Let's discuss this rent with option to buy. For those of you who are not familiar with rent to own, this is an arrangement between the investor and or homeowner and the tenant. What happens is the tenant agrees to pay an extra amount of money in addition to the rent that he's already paying, and then that extra amount goes towards the purchase of the house. So, for example, if the tenant is paying $1,000 in rent, in a rent to own situation, whatever that agreed upon amount is, he would pay that in addition to the monthly rent. So $1,000, and let's say the agreed upon amount is $300, then his rent or what he would pay every month would be $1,300. That extra $300 will go again towards the purchase of the home. And then at a set time, typically it's 5 years, the tenant should be able to purchase the home and then have that extra money that he's put aside all that time to purchase the home. Now, I admit that it sounds good, right? But it is extremely risky. And yes, there are always exceptions. In some cases, the arrangement works fine, but in most cases, unfortunately, people again have lost thousands of dollars and transactions have not gone well. So yes, I'm totally against it and for many reasons. But before we get to the reasons, let me just say that if you choose to go this route, if you choose to do a rent to own arrangement, consult with an attorney. Do not sign anything without the attorney reviewing it. Or otherwise, stay away from this situation, stay away from this arrangement, I should say. And here are some reasons why. The first thing is that there is not an official rent to own property. It's not federally regulated. There are no guidelines, and there is no consumer protection that protects you in the event that this arrangement doesn't go well. There are no consequences if one of the parties should fail to hold up their end of the bargain. The other thing, number two, is that there can be too many loopholes in which you could forfeit all of that extra money that you paid every single month. So, for example, if the agreement says that you are to pay the rent on the first of the month every month, and something should happen, and you don't have the money until, let's say, the second, well, you will have forfeited all of that money at the discretion of the owner. So you just want to be very, very careful. The other thing is that, you know what, really, instead of giving that money or giving away that extra money every month, save that extra money. Save it yourself. Rent as low as you possibly can. Instead of getting maybe a 2 bedroom, maybe you can sacrifice, because it's only short term, sacrifice and get maybe a 1 bedroom and then multi-purpose some of the space. But the third thing is that there's no guarantee that you will to purchase this house. What if the owner changes their mind? Who is there to call to help? So you just have to be very, very careful. The fourth thing is that the home values change on a daily basis. So you could possibly be paying more than the new market value when it's time to purchase. And then the other thing is that by the time you were able to purchase, there will be more inventory on the market. So maybe you can get a better home, when it's time for you to purchase. But you're tied, but you're be tied up in this one property. So you just want to, keep that in mind. The other thing is that through this arrangement, for me, it just raises too many questions. Is the landlord upside down on his mortgage? Is he not able to? Does he want more money for this home than what it's worth, and that's why he's not selling it? Where they're not able to sell it because there's a condition issue, or will the money actually go towards the purchase of the home, or will this owner pocket this money and spend it before it's time for me to buy? What happens if I'm not prepared to follow through with the purchase, or if I don't have the rest of the money to do this transaction in the set time, the 5 years or whatever set time was, the arrangement was. And so, you just want to be mindful of these things and understand that it is very, very risky, and people have lost thousands of dollars. And, to be honest, I am totally against creating a liability, especially if there are other options out there. So I would suggest that you, again, rent as low as you can and save that money yourself. If you help coming up with a savings plan, I have a savings challenge that I'll be happy to email to you. Just reach out to me. Shoot me an email at realestateDivaBrenda@gmail.com. Okay? Now listen, you can never say that I, as your friend, did not warn you or give you information so that you can make an informed decision, because that's what love does. It looks out for your best interests. But before we close, if you are a tenant who has successfully purchased your home through this type of transaction, or if you would like to continue to discuss the rent-to-own process or the way it works, we invite you to share your experience on the Diva Home and Lifestyle Facebook. But right now, it is time for me to say goodbye. I hope that this episode has been beneficial to you, because I love you to the moon and back. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and leave a review. Also, don't forget to join us as we continue the conversation in the Diva Home and Lifestyle group on Facebook. Peace and blessings from our family to yours. We hope you'll tune in next time.